all mic'd up. Hi everyone, my name is Daniel. So I work at Arlula, and we're a Earth observation, procurement, and management company. So can I get a show of hands quickly before we get into the rest of my presentation? Has anyone here actually bought satellite imagery before? Of course. So there are some people in this room that have personally experienced the pain of purchasing satellite imagery. I'm very glad that you guys can share that pain today. So as of this year's Star Wars Day, Orbiting Now lists 9,900 satellites in various orbits around Earth, and over 10% of them are Earth observation satellites. And as we know, the cost of launch is coming down, and therefore the rate of commercial satellites, particularly Earth observation satellites, that are being launched on those lower cost rockets are going up. So to take advantage of that, there's a new wave of analytics companies that are coming online to utilize the data that these satellites are sending down to Earth using AI ML algorithms to then provide insights to end users. And we can talk about those end users a little bit later. So the problem, though, is there's really no standardization of the commercial satellite data that's coming out. There's a whole bunch of different companies. There's a whole bunch of different standards that are being used and different formats. And that really creates fragmentation within the industry, and it creates hurdles for end users to then ultimately get the insights that they're paying for. Alongside that, if you're a consumer of satellite data or satellite insights, data insights, you probably will have to deal with multiple different satellite operators if you're buying directly from them. That creates a business problem because each of these operators have different contracts that they want to negotiate with you, and also different end user licenses that they provide. And that's quite challenging to navigate as an individual company. So that's where we come in. So to make the data and the insights scalable, we need to make the procurement and the management of that data scalable as well. Arlula is an infrastructure platform for scaled procurement, ingestion, and management of the geospatial data. So as a company, we're agnostic of data type. We've started with multispectral Earth observation data. We've moved into hyperspectral as well as synthetic aperture radar. And on our roadmap, we're soon going to be able to ingest aerial data as well. And what we do is really building out that the infrastructure. So if you think of any electronics that you have, say a hairdryer, you need to be able to plug that in, and for the electricity to come to your house into the hairdryer to actually be able to use that, right? So Arlula is that infrastructure, the grid that provides the electricity for you to be able to use the electricity at the end of the day. So who are we? Just a quick rundown. We were founded in 2018. There are two co-founders, and we've sold to over 200,000 square kilometers of data last year, as well as have over 13,000 platform users at this stage. We're backed by, we're seed, backed by Main Sequence Ventures, follow-on funding with Lockheed Martin, as well as recent grant funding from the Australian Space Agency, really to provide the data interoperability, so to be able to standardize the Earth observation data that I was just talking about before. Our customers, so we view customers in essentially two categories. There are enterprise customers, so various industries, mining, agriculture, defense and government, linear asset providers as well. Consultancy as well is one of those. And then the second category of customers really is the Earth observation satellite operators. So as I talked about earlier on, there's a lot of new operators sending their little boxes up into space. And a lot of the funding that they receive is going into the R&D and the actual operational costs of getting that piece of kit in space. The point where the data comes back down to the ground station and gets to the end user, that's a little bit of an afterthought. So we're providing that infrastructure as a service to those operators as well. This is a quick list of some of the major vendors that we're currently working with. As you can see, there's quite a large number. This isn't all of them. And this is an ever-growing list as well. So really highlighting the importance of being able to take all of the data from these multiple vendors and to be able to standardize that to then use it as an insight for your business. That's it for me. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'll take them now. So any questions? Okay.
If you have clients who are wanting to do small areas, how do you handle clients in some of the larger clients? Quite a sizable area. Is that a challenge that you're wondering?
Yeah, absolutely. So, sorry, I've forgotten your name.
That's okay, my name's Jenna.
Jenna. Part of what the problem that Jenna is referring to is the minimum order quantity issue. So as I spoke about before, there's a bit of a business problem here where these operators have these requirements of selling a certain quantity of square kilometers to you. So part of our solution and value add is that we deal with the supplier and have the I guess the ability to negotiate better deals for our customers. So in the instance of minimum order quantities, we can offer a 1 square kilometer minimum order, and that kind of varies by supplier. It varies depending on whether or not you're seeking archive or tasking, but it is something that as we see more and more customers and more demand, that we can then put that pressure on our suppliers to then bring that down. Yes.
How do you manage providers like
So the question was, how do we manage competition with our suppliers? So a lot of the suppliers we see don't actually want to get into the distribution side of things. They definitely want to keep their contracts with very large customers, government, for example. So Maxar is a great example of wanting to maintain that relationship with specific governments that they deal with. But a lot of the new players we're seeing as well want to specialize in their niche. So they see that we coming in as essentially a distributor and an aggregator in a lot of ways is beneficial for their business models.
A bit of a follow-on from that one.
Yeah.
So the other part of the question there was on the Google Earth Engine.
Yes.
That right? So they actually provide a lot of aggregated data together and sort of sell it out there. So what advantage do you have in there? Is it price? Is it quality? Is it time series? Is it any resolution? What have you got over them?
Yeah, so Google Earth Engine. So specifically, when you go, are you thinking of just like going on Google Earth Pro or go Maps?
No, they've got
just
a whole
in-
lot of data. Sorry, yeah. Earth engine data.
It-
Yeah, Earth engine now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So essentially, part of the value add with coming to an aggregator and dealing more or less directly with the suppliers is that the time frame to image acquisition. So you can get exactly the image you want when you want it, as well as then the efficiency of scale as well that we provide as aggregating our suppliers, both as well as customers
So
on
if I
that.
wanted a photo of the CBD of Melbourne on the 11th of May, you'd be able to give me exactly that particular one.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Maybe not within the cloud might be there, but yes, yeah, we can, yes.
Right, gotcha.
Two-part question. First is there much archival data in Australia? We've been a bit collective. The second part is talk about the challenge of giving the data in a format for the customers. That's what the satellite companies struggle with. So how do you guys deal with that? I imagine everyone wants their data in a different way. So it's like to the user, like you guys have your own format.
Yeah. So the question about how much archive data is available in Australia is very much depends on specifically where you look. Obviously, in coastal areas, specifically around cities, there's going to be a higher density of archive data. Each state essentially has a base map project that they run about every 5 years. So they will contract an operator to map the entire state, and so that can provide some good archive data as well. So particularly out in the outback. So the second question.
How do you put the data in a format the customers want?
Yeah. So this is partly where we have gotten the grant funding from ASA, and we're solving for that right now. We're with a project called data interoperability. Say that 5 times quickly. And it's what that is we're able to I guess add a layer on top of the raw data that's being provided to make it analysis ready for the end user. Yeah, sorry, I think there was a.
I had also 2 questions. My first was, do you also provide historical data analysis among your project, or it's real-time data?
Yeah, so the question was, do we provide historical data analysis? So we don't do the analysis ourselves. We provide the data. In terms of historical data, yes, that's a big part of the EO data model and the benefit that it can provide is that you can get historical data where it exists.
So even if I am looking for 1960 history of Melbourne, I be able to get
For no. But it'd be Landsat, yeah. You'd be looking at 30 meters, yeah, 30 meter per pixel, yeah. So maybe almost the entire CBD will fit into that, yeah, 1 pixel, yeah.
Right, focusing on student because I come from a geography background, so we had a paper of GIS and remote sensing. So getting satellite imaging was usually dependent on the field, like we said about the Earth observation of USGS. So usually our major concern was that we getting data from them was mostly not the real time, actually filtered, or some of the imaging part was blacked out. Maybe due to security reasons.
Yeah.
Anyway, you counter this issue or something because you're a student, sometimes you require to map out the exact area to make it precise in terms of areas the satellite imaging.
Yeah, so the question was, do we provide data or work with students? And the answer is we very much hope to in the future. Right now, we are very much focused on our B2B sales model. So whilst you can definitely come to us and use our platform to purchase satellite imagery that you may need if you're a student, our focus right now is not on students. Yeah.
And do you just word on do you on why people are purchasing images, and if so, as a result of that, like, do you reject people, or on the flip side, can you tell us about some like cool things some of your users have done with it?
Yeah. So yes is the answer to the DD question. I won't try it myself. So there is a requirement that is placed on us by our supply partners to know to a certain extent exactly what the use case is going to be. In a lot of instances, it's the specific locations that are, let's say, embargoed. So over Ukraine at the moment is not somewhere you can purchase imagery over. So the second part of that question was cool use cases, right?
More so like what people are planning to do with data, like do you find that out of the development, and if so, yeah, like maybe some cool examples of what your customers have done with the data that they bought from you.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of my role on a day-to-day basis is identifying exactly what the customer objective is and how what we can provide them actually solves that problem for them. So kind of the easy ones to easy questions to initially ask are around, what kind of resolution do you need, what kind of time frame do you need, and what kind of licensing requirements do you need as well. And so what we've seen, one of the projects that we've done is with a large mining company that are trying to do stockpile above ground stockpile monitoring, and they don't want to use their drones to monitor those stockpiles. They want to use a satellite image to do that. There are heaps of other things, other use cases. So on linear assets, vegetation encroachment would be another one you can do. Really, the benefit is you can have regular monitoring of sites, and whilst there will be weather implications for the capture of that data, you can still work around that with bespoke capture schedules, and then get that information to you to analyze it. The other interesting use case that we're looking at right now is the tip and queue model. So have a device, so with the Internet of Things, if that triggers, for example, you have in a forest, if there is a device is triggered that indicates a fire, then you can immediately queue a satellite, or automatically queue a satellite to go and take an image of that to identify exactly where that fire may be.
One of the use cases I love is forecasting grain harvest to forecast like deficiencies in grain and price.
Yeah.
Question: because of the weather, how much of like the daily satellite imagery is done?
Yeah. So with satellite imagery acquisition, especially for the commercial operators, it costs money for them to capture. And so even if they are doing speculative tasks, there needs to be a fairly compelling business reason that they're doing that. So specifically, whether like how much of it is junk is more, I think more the important question is how much of the capture of junk data is factored into the cost of purchasing the satellite imagery. And that's where we as an aggregator can provide a solution, because we have access to multiple suppliers. They may be able to capture exactly what you're requiring and ultimately bring down the cost for our end users.
You like, does your software go, okay, we've got 6 different suppliers for this location this day, and then just kind of go, okay, well, this one's the only.
So you can select exactly which supplier you want to use once you've gone out on our platform. But it will do the orbital calculations of where the satellite is going to be, and within a specific time frame, you'll be able to you'll be given an option of whether or not that satellite is able to capture within that time frame.
Okay, one more question.
If one
Lucky
of your
last.
customers buys archival footage for a given area for a given day, you pay your supplier. If another customer then buys the same area, do you have to pay the supplier again, or do you have a license to then resell that, and that's then paid at the same time?
It is a licensed product for the specific end user, so it would have to be another purchase. So we are again, in this sense, an aggregator. So we the cost is passed on to the end user here. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Brilliant.
Thanks, Daniel.